This changes everything for the New York Rangers as expectations this year have changed. And with training camp right around the corner, Rangers fans are expecting some surprise performances, as well as a writer suggesting that the Rangers may have solved their first line right wing problem. And it's pretty shocking. It's going to have some Rangers fans fired up. We're going to break all of that down. But before we do, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 70% of you watching our videos are not actually subscribed to the channel. It's free to subscribe. So if you want to do yourself a favor, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with everything New York Rangers. Now, let's dive into it today. Obviously, the expectations for the Rangers next year have changed, and not just for the team as a whole, for specific players, right? And I think that this article by Jim, it was very interesting, right? And we're not going to get into all 5 differences. So if you want to go check out the article, do that yourself, because there were some interesting tidbits. But there are some things from the article I want to point out because he made some great points. And one of them is number 5, and that is the new goalie coaches Benoit Allaire, with Benoit Allaire leaving, how will the new goalie coach, the dynamic change with the goaltenders? And I think that's very interesting with Igor Shesterkin heading into a contract year. And speaking of Igor Shesterkin, before we continue any further, there was some news in a video I did last week, with Shesterkin possibly getting paid as much as $12 million and certainly being the number 1 paid goaltender in the league. And there was, some quotes here from Henrik Lundqvist, the Hall of Famer, and of course, New York Rangers legend on the goalie. So if you want to pause and read those very quick, there was some great words and insight on Igor Shesterkin from Henrik Lundqvist. So speaking of Igor Shesterkin, how will the change in goaltending coaches affect him, especially in a contract year? We know that players across the league, when they're in their contract years, play really well and have probably their best seasons, which is just weird. It's just something about wanting more money, I guess, on the contract, more years, whatever it is. They want security. They play really well. So I wonder how a switch in goaltending coach, especially Jeff Malcolm being, much younger and obviously being in the organization, how that will affect the goaltending duo of Shesterkin and Jonathan Quick. I think that was a pretty interesting point. I don't think it will affect it too much, but it is something to consider heading into this year, which there's so much riding on this year, especially with so many contracts needing to be signed next year. The Rangers really have to take a shot at winning the Stanley Cup this year because it makes it so much harder after this season with obviously the contract situation. And another one that he brought up, there was some talk of Capo Caco. Go check out the article for that, which I did a video on that. Capo Caco has to have a great year this year. I think he has all the tools to be able to do it, and I feel like the Rangers should hang on to him. But anyway, Lafreniere is now a star, and I think we saw that last year, right? And obviously he started, on the kid line, a couple years ago that we saw, maybe was his first coming out party as, a rookie basically at that point. He played through COVID, but really started coming to his own over the last 2 seasons. And he came into the 2023 training camp with a lot of expectations, but now this year, especially after his playoff performance, expectations for this player are very high. He is a superstar now, or he should be regarded in that category that he is now, a star. He should be the best player technically on the Rangers, or at least, emerging star on the Rangers. Obviously, they still have top end talent like Zibanejad, like Panarin, but this is the guy, moving forward. So hopefully he can, take a hold of that opportunity and build off of what he was doing last season. And I thought that was a great point from Jim here. And the other interesting thing is obviously there's a lot of money having to go to Shesterkin, Lafreniere, K'Andre Miller. So this could be the last season we see with Jacob Trouba and Ryan Lindgren. Obviously Lindgren signing that 1-year deal and $4.5 million. Great for this year. And I think he's a great part of the Rangers lineup, and he goes hand in hand with Adam Fox. I think he's a great, Robin for Adam Fox's Batman per se. And it could be their last go-around, right? Obviously, one more year on the deal for Jacob Trouba, but with all the stuff we talked about this offseason, it looks like he might actually get moved at the end of next season to make way for, obviously, the salaries of the 3 players I mentioned before. So it's going to be pretty interesting. This could be the last go-around for 2 of these players. Pretty interesting stuff, and that will reshape the decor, that's for sure. But obviously, you want to re-sign K'Andre Miller, and you're going to have to re-sign Lafreniere. And the first one, which I thought what is most interesting as well, Laviolette is entering his second season as Rangers head coach. And, why is that a big deal? Because he had a great season last year and he propelled the Rangers to a President's Trophy and, of course, the third round of the playoffs. Can he, in his second year, take them to the Stanley Cup final and to win a Stanley Cup? I think there has to be a bit of a mindset change because the Rangers need to play more physical, right? We saw that last year. This is something they've struggled with. They need to play more physical. So I wonder if Laviolette can kind of help them get over the hump for the first time since 2014. There's a great point by Jim, and it's going to be interesting to see if he's going to be able to do that. But like Jim said, Laviolette has plenty of credentials on his side right now, and the players know what to expect on and off the ice from their coach. So there is some comfort with that for the players, but at the same time, let's go out and get after it. Let's get us a Stanley Cup in Laviolette's second year. Laviolette, Lafreniere, I'm mixing up the names here, but I thought that was a great point by Jim. Now, to shift gears a little bit, Rangers rookie camp is getting underway, and I just wanted to highlight a couple names to watch in this year's rookie camp because it is still a rookie camp, but at the same time, I feel like at least one of these guys might end up on the NHL roster, and that is, to me personally, Brendan Othmann. I think this is someone, or Brennan Othmann. This is somebody to look out for. I think he could make the NHL. Maybe not full-time, but I think we're going to see a lot of him in the NHL this year. Obviously, Adam Sikora to keep an eye on as well. And Matthew Robertson. I know in a couple videos ago I said Robinson. I saw the comments. I'm so sorry. I know I mispronounced it there, but Matthew Robertson, another player to look out for on defense who could potentially see some time this year as well. I think that's something to really look out for. So those three specifically, there's a lot of really good rookies here and players in this training camp. Lots to be excited about, certainly. But those three players, I think, to look out for, sooner rather than later. And, the last thing we'll touch on here in this video is the Rangers. This is from Tom Castro, and I think a lot of Rangers fans are going to have a laugh with this one. The Rangers VC could solve the right wing problem on the Kreider Zibanejad line. Now, I disagree with this. I think Riley Smith will have that role. I think Capo Caco should probably get that position, honestly, because, at least to start the year, given the opportunity, I feel like he has to play with better players, but that's besides the point. If all does not go to plan, it should go to Riley Smith. He has the experience, and if that doesn't work, then obviously Riley Smith's contract expires at the end of the season, so that's fine. But I don't know. This was very interesting, a very interesting article from Tom Castro, and he goes in to say that, if you look at the advanced metrics and the advanced stats, that VC is actually really good and could be on par with those two players and could actually score a lot of goals and put up some decent points. If you want to pause and read it, I thought it was an interesting thing here in the article with the advanced metrics as to why he could fit in on that slot. Now, I think the Rangers are going to play with their lineup this year. I do. I think there are some things that are set in stone, but especially that right wing position on the top line, not set in stone yet, and I think it's going to be interesting. So could VC end up there? It is possible. Anything is possible. So let me know in the comments what you think of the Rangers rookie camp. If there's anybody who caught your eye that I did not mention, let me know in the comments who you're excited to watch. The expectations changing for the New York Rangers this year, especially with Lafreniere becoming a star. Obviously, let me know in the comments what you think of VC on the top line. But if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Stay up to date with everything New York Rangers.